As a father, I've always had two major concerns about Julie getting married. First, who is the Mr. Right going to be? Over the years, Julie has had a real eclectic mix.
Don't tell us everything.
An eclectic mix of male friends with diverse personalities and physical characteristics. Let me share a couple of the examples. The first example, as a high school senior, Hippie Dave was every father's nightmare. Although he was incredibly entertaining with a quirky sense of humor, he was the blonde-haired, blue-eyed version of Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong. And for those of you that have never heard of Tommy Chong, think shoulder-length hair, flip-flops with a tux, and better living through chemistry. I always prayed that he would never make the short list. Okay, during college, Julie dated a very smart engineer who was just as solid as a rock and provided a steadying influence. Yep. Steady as a rock, you know, he was an engineer. Okay. Unfortunately, he had a limited sense of adventure and struggled a bit with his physical presence. And I don't mean that. Okay, one more. Then there was the gentle giant. He was a Wake Forest football standout who had a short career with the Atlanta Falcons. He was 6'7", with a playing weight of over 300 pounds. Who's this guy? Well, because he had been so disciplined as a student athlete, his whole life was laid out in a structured, long-range plan. Even though he was a tall, handsome athlete, structured and long-range plans are not concepts that Julie considers very often. They cramp her style. Finally, Miguel came along. Finally, Miguel. Marianne and I met Miguel at Julie's Christmas party 2 years ago. We only spent a few hours at the party, but I was impressed right away. Miguel clearly had the physical requirements, was witty, creative, intelligent, and this is probably somebody from work calling me. I'll do that again for you. Miguel clearly met the physical requirements. Was witty, creative, intelligent, and quite charming.
Very charming.
My grandma. My grandma.
Over the next year, I could tell that Julie and Miguel were becoming soulmates, and the boxes on Julie's list were being checked off. Miguel had the complete package of diverse characteristics that Julie was looking for. At the end of the first year of dating, Julie announced she was quitting her job in our area and moving to Northern Virginia. When Julie saw the look on my face, she said, "Don't worry, Dad. If I didn't think this was going somewhere, I wouldn't do it." That was when I started reviewing my checklist. I'm pleased to tell you the last box was checked off this past New Year's Day when Miguel called from Mexico where they were vacationing with his parents. He told me Julie had accepted his marriage proposal and he wanted to know if it was okay. Mr. Right had arrived. The second concern was the father-daughter separation. I have really enjoyed being Julie's dad. Over the years, we've been horseback riding, shooting, hiking, biking, water skiing, windsurfing and kayaking together. She turned out to be a great student, athletic, adventurous, a good worker, fun to be with, and quite popular wherever she went. And I think that shows quite clearly. When she was out job hunting after college, I proudly introduced her to all of my business contacts to get her a job, and they all still ask about her. How is she doing? No, this was the tough one. My first real trial at the father-daughter separation was rather painful. It was when I took Julie to Morgantown for her first year of college. 4 days before classes began, you never heard this story. 4 days before college, when classes started, I dropped her off and left her with a pile of her belongings on a bed, sitting across from a strange, very strange roommate.
Not us.
No, that came later. In the same situation. During the 4-hour ride home, I had tears streaming down my face. Each day before class started, I managed to find an excuse to drive 4 hours up and 4 hours back to make sure she was okay. But as you'd expect, she was doing fine because the return trip home for me was the same each time. For the last several years, Julie has lived away from home. I've missed being her playmate of last resort, watching her grow. I've been concerned that a marriage would create an additional sense of separation, but now that I know who Mr. Right is, I'm looking forward to a strong bond with both Miguel and Julie. With that, I'd like to propose a toast.
Yeah.
Happy, adventurous marriage. Cheers, man. Everybody. Cheers.
Yeah, that was a very good speech. I don't know about the beginning, a little rocky.
You're pretty strong. You're pretty strong.